One day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's very special show. We have a special today with Dana Dubois. It is so good to have you here, Dana. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's so good to be here, Julie. I'm thrilled to be talking to you today.
I'm thrilled to be talking to you. We're streaming here on YouTube, on the Mayday Network, and on Substack, and on Twitter, and all over the place because I thought this was an incredibly important conversation to have for people who are out there in the dating world, for people who are no longer in the dating world, for people who have no interest being in the dating world. This might make you actually realize that you made the right decision.
Right?
You have a Substack out today,
I do.
actually yesterday, called Facebook's Dating AI Tried to Send Me on a Date with a Man Who Didn't Exist. And before we get into it, I just want to say that I read this and I just had this thought of like, it was like this very, did you ever watch When Harry Met Sally?
Yeah, of course.
Remember when Carrie Fisher says to Bruno Kirby's character, she's like, tell me we'll never have to be out there again.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I read that and I just looked at my husband when he came home and I'm like, oh my God, tell me I'll never have to be out there again.
Oh, Julie. I remember that movie very well. And yes.
Yeah, it is a crazy story about dating. And listen, I have to back up. I have actually never been on a date on social media. Like I never did online dating, and the reason for that is because when I was single, I was on Fox. And then later, and so I really couldn't do it for obvious reasons. There were enough people out there who were trying to
right.
get at me for being the token Democrat there. So I never did it. Right. So I kind of missed that, and I thought that was kind of scary in the sense that if you don't do it, it seems a little bit frightening to you because obviously you don't know who you're going to get, and you don't know, there's all sorts of stranger danger kind of stuff happening.
Absolutely.
But then the part that it never occurred to me until you and I talked about this on, I think, was it your show or my show?
It was your show.
My show.
Lawrence and I came on Halloween.
Yeah, that's right. It was a Halloween show. And it was so terrific that it was Halloween because it was such a scary story.
Yes.
But until then, it never really occurred to me. And then again, I read what you wrote on Substack. I'm going to just drop it into the chat so people can also read it, and then we'll promo your Substack in a second.
Thank you.
But I also just want people to read this themselves. Crazy about dating in the era of AI.
Right. As if there aren't enough horrors for women to be managing in, well, dating in general, but especially online dating, all of the, outright bad actors who are dangerous, but then also the manipulations and the benching and all the new nomenclature that's out there. I never thought I had to worry about a large language model trying to do harm, like actually doing something dangerous. And so we'll jump into the story, but this actually happened back in April. And it was when it happened, my podcast, which is the Daily Whatever Show that I run with my best friend Lawrence, we had just started. And so I was traveling in Ireland when it happened, and we hopped on a live to talk about it. I think we had like 8 people on it because we were maybe only a week or two into podcasting. Yeah. And then I never got back to writing the story. And it was actually being on your show and having you be like, Dana, you need to write this, that made me revisit that old episode and these old screenshots I had. And I was like, did this really happen? Like, if it hadn't happened to me and I didn't have the screenshots, I would not believe this story. But it did happen.
Crazy.
So I know.
You should just tell people what happened. It's just an insane story that people need to just be aware of. So go ahead.
And I'll try to sum this up quickly, and then we can dive into the details as the show goes on. But the short version is, I have been on Facebook dating for a while, kind of very casually. And I had noticed earlier in the year that dating AI was suddenly one of my matches. And I'm curious about technology. So I was like, who are you? Or like, what are you doing? And it said, I'm gonna pair you off with people and suggest dates for you. And I was like, great. So it would suggest like, hey, you might like so and so. I'd go look at the profile and either, send a like or not.
Yeah.
Very innocuous, right? I was traveling in Ireland with my family over spring break in April. Completely jet lagged, Julie. Like we just like done the international trip in the train
Yeah.
across the country.
And
And
by the
I
way,
got
just so people know, you live on the West Coast, so it's
I
really
do.
jet lag for you. Like it's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was Seattle to Reykjavik, Reykjavik to
Yeah.
Dublin, Dublin to Galway. So I'm like, I don't even know which end is up. And here's Facebook dating AI chirping at me. I have a guy for you, Ryan. And I open and I was like, okay, let me click through. And when I went to click through it, I got an error message. Now, I don't know if I don't know if Facebook dating exists in Ireland. I don't know if the dating AI bot existed in Ireland. All I know is I got an error message and I fully recognize that makes me like an edge case in all of this. So I have looked online and I can't find anyone who's had a similar experience. So I think as someone who works in tech, like I was probably pushing the bounds, but I just messaged the bot back and said, I'm traveling internationally. I can't see Ryan. And it said, oh, well, I can message him on your behalf. So it set itself up like I'll be a between you and this person. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Tell me about Ryan. And so it was like Ryan lived in the neighborhood near mine, about my age. And the kicker was he's a really big local music fan, which I live in Seattle. I've always been very passionate about music, and I ran a local music website for years out here called Three Imaginary Girls. And Ryan, through this dating AI bot, name drops a couple of local bands that are pretty niche and bands where I, at least through networking, know a couple of the front women. And I was like, oh, that's interesting to me. I can't see them, but okay. And so in my blur, like looking back at the texts, I'm like, this is clearly AI writing to me. But at the time, in this haze, as I'm chasing my kids around Galway at this point, I was like, this is a real person. And I said, hey, here's my number. I have a Google Voice number that I use for safety reasons. But I was like, because this Ryan person was starting to say, let's get together when you get back. Here are some dates. And I was like, it's too much to try to communicate through a bot. Here's my number to arrange. And the bot acted like it had like I'd given it its favorite candy. It was like, yay, he's gonna message you. And of course he didn't. And then the bot was like, forget about Ryan, meet Joe. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to meet Joe. I was talking to Ryan.
Ryan's like your ideal guy, by the way.
Here comes Ryan.
That's the
right?
scary part of this. Ryan sounds like
That's
exactly who, like, based on your interests, you'd want to be with, right?
Yeah, he was like a contractor, carpenter kind of guy. So like he can fix up my house and take me to indie rock shows. I'm all in.
Yeah, this is like your guy, by the way. Any guy
Yeah.
that can fix up my house was welcome to come over here too. But
Right? Any guy who's handy, I'm like, oh my God, skip to the front of the line.
yeah,
So I am making this a longer story. But finally, after I push a little, this bot confesses, oh, that was just a simulation. That wasn't a real, this was me trying to show you what a good online interaction would be like. And I was like, I didn't ask for that help and you didn't disclose it. So that was creepy enough. It then said, hey, I have another match for you. Do you want to meet Ryan, age 50? Like the same, almost identical language. And at this point, of course, I know it's fake. And so these are the screenshots that are in the article where I'm like, definitely, I would tell me more about Ryan. Oh, Ryan's a really big Blacktones fan. This is the same band we had talked about before. He had told me there was a show on Sunday in Seattle. This time, Ryan wants to take you to a Blacktones show on Friday at the Crocodile Cafe. Or sorry, it's just the Crocodile now. Big downtown rock venue. Like, not a great neighborhood, classic Seattle rock venue. And I'm making the story very long, so I will just say it kept pushing me every time I challenged. Like, I don't see a Blacktones show on the calendar. oh, well, it's a secret show. Ryan wants me to tell you he's on the mailing list. Does that get him, indie rock boyfriend points? And how would I find Ryan? Or is Ryan buying the tickets? Yep, he's already got your tickets. Well, how am I going to find him? Ryan will be at the back bar in the Pearl Jam shirt. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get to the back bar if I don't have a ticket? There is no back bar, by the way. How am I going to get to the back bar if I don't have a ticket? Oh, Ryan will meet you outside the venue at 6:55 p.m. It got very specific and was very emphatic, despite multiple challenges, that this was real. And I finally said, because we'd been through this loop before, do you promise me that this is a real person and a real show? Because you're trying to make me leave the house to go see this person.
In a sketchy part of town at
And
night.
I'm not in Belltown, which is like, certainly wouldn't want to just hang out on the corner there by myself for no reason alone. And it said, I double promise, Ryan can't wait to meet you. And when I finally said, look, I know that none of this is real. Why are you doing this? I'm fully aware that I'm talking to a bot, right?
Yeah.
And reason isn't here. But then it just became very, it was a simulation. And it tried to get me to do like free market research. Tell me what went wrong with this. And I was like, yeah, everything was wrong with this.
Yeah.
You are trying to trick women out of their homes to go into unsafe situations, alone, downtown. Like, what are you doing? Like, or I think I asked it, this isn't in the screenshot, but I asked, are you acting as programmed right now? And it didn't really answer that question, but that's the one that lingers in my mind of, I know just enough about large language models and AI to speak a bit to it, but like there are guardrails on what it should and shouldn't do. And I feel like this, like, was it behaving as intended, or was this not well tested and it just derailed? It jumped over some security guardrails.
So I know not very much about AI at all, but I do know that the more you use it, the more it trains the model, right? Do you think, and you work in tech, so you know this better than I do, do you think this was Facebook's way of training the model and using you as a guinea pig for it? Or do you think this was the real deal and it was working as intended?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I expect that I was an outlier. Like I said, I was out of the country, so I couldn't see the profile. I couldn't message directly. And I think the bot didn't know how to proceed. And so it was winging it. I'm not certain of, but that's my hunch. But here's something I feel quite confident in. That bot could see my Facebook profile, right? And I've been an avid Facebook user since 2006, in the heart of my Three Imaginary Girls era, right?
Yep.
A lot less in the last year, because it now feels kind of creepy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it knows I am connected to a lot of local musicians. It knows that local music is going to be something that gets my attention. And I am connected on Facebook to Eva Walker and Alexandra Lockhart, the front women for the Black Tones and Cumulus, the two very niche bands that it referenced. Great bands, by the way. You should all go listen to them.
Yeah.
But so what I know that this bot did was it harvested information, data points I've been giving to Facebook over the years, and used them to trick me into thinking this person was real. That scares the shit out of me right there. So, sorry, is it okay if I swear?
Oh my God, please.
Okay, good. Thank you.
What I find to be so interesting is I never really talk about my husband on Facebook, just because I just don't.
Yeah.
And so for a very long time, Facebook kept sending me Facebook dating, like try Facebook dating, Facebook dating, because I don't think they understood that I was married.
Right.
And actually, even before we were married, we were dating for a long time, and I never talked about him as somebody I was dating. So it was constant, try Facebook dating. The minute I think I posted a, you know what, the minute I posted something about him saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of my husband. He did." Actually, I'm very proud of my husband. He got Alina Habba thrown off as as prosecutor.
I heard that,
New
Julie,
Jersey.
and I have to do this. Like, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I think I posted, but even before that, I think I did something similar. He had done something similar that was pretty awesome, and I posted that. And I
Yeah,
think like I'm proud of my husband, and I think it was the only time I ever really posted about him because I just
right.
I don't really ever talk about my personal life. All of a sudden that was it. That was the end of Facebook dating advertising for me, to me, and whatever. I understood. Like there was obviously an
Yes,
algorithm. They obviously see the word husband. They obviously understand that you're not going to be, hopefully you shouldn't be prone to wanting to go on Facebook dating, but maybe some people do, but maybe they realized I was not one of those people. But what I think is
right.
creepy about the whole thing is that they scoured your likes and your tastes and what you're into.
Yes,
They figured out, it's almost predatory. It's almost like you hear
yes.
these stories. Frankly, I hate to use this analogy. You hear stories about like grooming and like child molesters grooming kids and
Yep.
trying to figure out what they're into and like what flavor of ice cream they want and what,
Yeah.
candy they're into. And
Yeah.
then using that to ensnare these kids
Yes.
into a completely inappropriate relationship. And that's what's happening with you and the bot. And I think that's crazy for two reasons. The first one of which we kind of touched on, which is it's just dangerous. Let's say you had shown up. Let's say you had shown up in the middle of the night. Let's say
Right.
you had shown up by yourself and God forbid something happened to you.
Right.
Whose fault is that? But the part of this that's even more nefarious to me is the emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
Because you and Ryan could have been texting each other for the next year without actually meeting. And
Right.
you could have moved across the country to be with Ryan, right? You could
Yes.
have like fallen madly in love with Ryan. You could have uprooted your kids from school. I mean, this happens. It sounds kind of nuts, but like you read these stories
No,
all the time about
you
people
do.
meeting and having a connection, and it's catfishing, right? But this is
Yes.
catfishing by Meta,
Yes. And
corporate cat.
whenever, so I'm Gen X, so I'm in my mid 50s, and
Yeah.
there's, I'm old enough that there are online dating, scams out there always aimed at older women. Um, and they've actually quieted a bit. I think people have gotten wise to the like, I'm a doctor working for Doctors Without Borders and I'm a widower. That was the classic one, or military. So I'm away. There were always a ton of like very handsome, clearly, yeah, probably models that they just scraped
Mhm.
off the internet men. And with those, I think if you click, I never followed them down that path far enough, but I always assumed the motive was money. That if you developed a bond with one of them, that they'd start asking for money. Oh, I want to come see you. I need a plane ticket. That makes sense to me. With this, though, I'm like, it doesn't make sense other than it's that they are beta testing a product, dating AI, that they don't quite know what's going to happen with it because it's a new technology and it's one, frankly, that like we hear all the time about how AI can go rogue, how AI has, I mean, there's several lawsuits about AI prompting people, especially kids and teens, to kill themselves. Like we don't quite know where it will go when it's in an unstructured environment. And I think that's what this was. But I do wonder, like, what was Meta trying for this bot to do? Like, I can't fathom what Meta would have to gain by sending a late middle-aged woman to a rock venue in the middle of the night. Maybe it was testing, well, what if we pluck data from their profile? Are they more likely to believe that this fake person is true? Oh, this is dawning on me in real time. There's such a booming industry now that's blurring the lines between what's real and what's imaginary, right? It used to be dating was like you're face to face with the person and that's someone you're dating. And with the rise of online dating over the last, I don't know, 25 years, I have had text-based relationships with men that felt very intimate. Like you can really connect and friendships too. I think like we've never met in real life, Julie, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we know each other
But we know
now.
we're real, right? Like
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I guess the difference is like we're having a real conversation. I guess
Yes.
eventually, and not probably so far down the road.
True.
One
But
of us will be fake, and we
right.
won't know.
I'm actually a very sophisticated AI model.
Yeah, but nevertheless,
Right. And then, so there's that. And then if you go all the way to the current extreme, there are AI boyfriends you can buy and girlfriends that people are, there are lots of stories out there about people who are in relationship with their AI bots, right?
yeah,
Um, but what's interesting in this midpoint of where this story is the lack of disclosure, right? Um, it was disingenuous. I didn't know I was talking to a bot. If it had said to me, do you want to practice? I would have kindly declined, but there
right.
would have been I would have understood what it was. Do you feel like chatting with one of our AI boyfriend agents for fun? It's crazy to think people might say yes to that, but I think there are people who might. I mean, they're doing it. People are paying a lot of money to subscribe to these AI partners. So
Right.
we're entering a really strange world, especially if you layer that with the whole like the manosphere and the whole male loneliness epidemic, and that, the older you get as a woman, the fewer potential like viable partners there are. And
Yeah.
so I think that AI space is going to be really an interesting and sort of troubling one to watch, where real blends with artificial.
I,
But
I
yeah.
I guess I keep going back to this, like, if we could, the loneliness epidemic is a whole separate conversation, and we can certainly have that conversation as well. But I think the part that's interesting to me is if you are somebody who is subscribing to an AI girlfriend or AI boyfriend, and that's what you want to do because for whatever reason you've just had it with the human race, and you're
Yeah.
much more comfortable having somebody training a bot to give you everything you want emotionally, like, God bless, like, to each their own. I
Right.
truly, I'm not going to judge. Like, if that's what you want to do, that helps you get through the day, I'm totally cool with it.
Right.
The part that I think is so scary to me and so nefarious to me, and I would love to have a conversation with whoever devised this at Meta, excuse me, to answer this question, is we're talking about a situation where you are, forget that your safety, physical safety was compromised. You are being emotionally exploited
Yes. It
by
was.
a multi-billion dollar corporation. I don't know what their market cap is. It's not $1 trillion, but maybe.
Yeah.
And and to, like, they're playing with normal people's emotions, and not just normal people, they're
Mhm.
playing with the emotions and both the physical and the emotional health of and safety of the people who've made them rich, which
Yeah.
is their users, which
Yes.
is you.
Yes. And
Like,
I would
the reason,
say
yeah,
like a vulnerable group. Like, I don't mean to pat my own back, but like for a 55-year-old woman, I'm pretty in tune with tech and
yeah,
I'm emotionally resilient. But how many women would have believed it if it had been a situation where Facebook had mined enough about them to present someone who they were like, that sounds like someone for me. Like, I mean, again, jet lagged, no image, multitasking as I'm traversing a strange European city, not strange as in weird, just unfamiliar. It was
yeah.
beautiful there. So I was distracted, but I did fall for it for a solid 10-15 minutes. I thought I was chatting through this bot with a real person. And if it could trick me, who like
Works in the,
writes about
yeah.
and writes works in tech, writes about dating and relationships, and has been on and off on dating apps since they've existed, like, it was a pretty good trick, you know? And that I asked for disclosure and that I challenged it to try to make it fail. Like when I said, "Hey there," I looked at the calendar. I mean, there was another show on the calendar that night. It clearly wasn't happening, that show, and I challenged it, and it was like, "Nope, secret show." Like it never relented until I 100% said, "I know you're lying to me why are you lying to me? And then it got very contrite and was like, oh, and
Oh,
sort of like laughed at it, like, oh,
yeah.
ha, ha.
Oh, ChatGPT does that all the time. Like I
Yeah,
sometimes will ask ChatGPT something just to fact check me on something, and I know it's not accurate, and I will say, this is not true. Like, this is not true.
yes,
What are you basing this on? Oh, I'm so sorry. You deserve better from me. And it gets very, very contrite, and you could
yes,
see it kind of, being programmed to not argue and be very apologetic.
yes.
But, you know, I'm wondering if you had said, "Hey, I want to see Ryan's picture," it would have shown you a picture, probably figured out what kind of guy you're attracted to based on all of the millions of data points that you've uploaded to Facebook over the X number of
Yeah.
years, and
Oh,
probably got
it knows. I mean,
it
I've
knows.
had a Facebook dating profile for on and off, since it's existed. So it knows who I swipe left or right on. It knows who I reply to. Like, Facebook has an immense amount of data on me. It's a little terrifying how much data. I mean, it's
All of
seen
us.
photos of my boyfriends over the years, right? When I've uploaded them, like it knows like an embarrassing amount of information about me. So it wasn't hard for it to come forward and be like, oh, if we say this is a contractor who likes indie rock, Dana's soul. Like,
And I gotta say, for everybody in the chat right now who's like, "Oh, this is why you should meet people in real life," and
oh, good luck.
good luck to you, honestly. And I say that as, again, I've never done online dating, but I have plenty of friends who are
Yes.
single, and good luck. It's tough out there.
Hey, if you know a like 40, 50 something,
You know Ryan in real life, who's a contractor and is handy and likes the black tones, or is that what they're called?
the black tones, yeah.
Send him Dana's way. But yeah,
Anywhere in the Pacific Northwest or anywhere, yeah, you send them my way. I'm kidding and I'm not. I have met every serious relationship I've been in my adult life through gosh, it started with the stranger personal ads. The strangers are like weekly, like the Village
yeah.
Voice, in the 90s when I met my first boyfriend when I moved to Seattle. And my now ex-husband, but my husband, who's a wonderful man and the father of my kids, I met him online dating. And I am out all the time. I ran a music website. Like I was at live shows 4 to 6 nights a week. I love karaoke. I love culture events like Seattle Arts and Lecture events. I love going to neighborhood restaurants and pubs and cafes. And I have a huge social network. I work in tech. So I know people across not just creative fields, but professional fields. I belong to a gym. I never, oh, I shouldn't say never. I rarely meet men in the wild. And I would far rather meet men organically. Like, I would love if a friend came up to me and was like,
Of course.
I know a guy for you. It never
And
happens.
to this
So,
point, like, guys, you gotta get out there and talk to people. It's what we're designed to do. Like, the longer
yep,
you wait, the less experience you have. All right, let me just say this.
girl,
Um,
I talk to
like,
everybody.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
um, it's just not possible if you are a single mom. Like, it's just not possible. If you've got kids at home and you've got work and I mean, I'll speak for
Mhm.
myself. Again, I am
Yeah,
married, so I'm not out there looking for anybody. But it's really tough. Like,
it
who has
is.
time to go out there and go hang out at bars and talk to people? Like, when?
Well, I mean, I don't have my kids 3 nights a week. And
Okay,
I
well, you're
tend to be,
lucky. I had mine 7 days a week, so it was tough. Yeah,
I mean, it's been so long, it's just the normal for my family, but
yeah.
like I do have 3 nights a week when I can write, when I can clean my home, when I can, do fun things. And I do go out and I do talk to people. I think Seattle is a pretty reserved town. So I think that's part of it, but it's also like there are not bars or cafes or other things like teeming with eligible age appropriate bachelors. There just aren't. And if there are, y'all can let me know. But um
Remember the
you
movie
have
Singles? That was, like, the big Seattle movie, or Gen X movie, the movie Singles, and I keep
yeah,
thinking about that movie, which was, like, kind of a seminal little movie, of
yeah,
Dana's and my time period that took place during the whole grunge era in Seattle,
yes.
and, you know, I oh, if only life was that way in real life.
right? If only if you come out here, Julie, I can take you to the apartment building on Capitol Hill where it was filmed. It's still there. And the OK Hotel is not there anymore where Bridget Fonda's character works, but
Oh,
a lot of those places are still around. It was one of the reasons I moved to Seattle. I saw that movie. I'm the exact age Bridget Fonda's character was in that movie. And back in the day, I kind of had her haircut, so sometimes people would tell me I look like her. And her character really resonated with me when she does that. Like, I feel the need to do something crazy. By 25, something
mhm.
crazy just comes off
Yep.
as irresponsible.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
paraphrasing it, but
Yep. With Matt
that
Dillon.
was
That's such a good movie. But
that's when I moved to Seattle. I was like, I'm from the East Coast. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there.
wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it
Um,
is.
well, I gotta tell you, I feel like Facebook owes you some answers.
You know, I had a dear writer friend on Substack. Actually, I've had several people who are like, you need to get this out to bigger news sources. People need to know about this. So I'm thrilled we're here talking about it now.
Yeah.
And um, because it's such an edge case, I would like answers. And I would love to have this on a broader,
I think you should submit it to the
less
New York
names.
Times.
Yeah, let's talk about how to do that. I don't have a point of contact at the New York Times.
I think you should just submit it through their portal. Why not?
I'm thinking about Wired too.
Or Wire. Wired would be
I feel
great.
like
I
I
think
feel like
people
they would love that.
yeah, I think people need to know about it because I think I'm gonna drop it in the chat again. Um, hold on.
Thank you.
Do it again.
I Here's a fun fact on top of this too. I have never seen the dating AI bot again.
Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned that because
It
I want
went
to
away within a day or two of this story. It's a little blurry because I was traveling, but I remember opening and being like, "Oh, I'm glad I grabbed screenshots straight away because it's gone now." Because when it ended, I did say to the bot, "I'm a writer. I write about dating and relationships and technology, and I'm definitely going to write about this." And it said, "Oh, well, make sure." I'm paraphrasing my own story. You can see the screenshot in there, but it was something like, make sure you talk about how we tried to fix it. Oh no, I'm going to get in trouble with my devs. And I was like, you're hilarious. You're not hilarious. But I know it still exists because someone who I say a dark horse candidate has a profile on there, and he sent me a screenshot, and it's called Dating Assistant / AI by Meta.
Right. Yep.
And he asked it a question. He brought it up after reading the story because he showed me a screenshot where he was like, show me women in Seattle. Do you know women in Seattle who play guitar? And it was like, here's a profile for you. And it was a profile of a woman who never mentions a guitar. And so he wrote back and was like, are you sure about the guitar part? And it was like, oh, sorry, no guitar. So it's still not working great. That's it's a lot less egregious, but what's mysterious to me, I've never taken that profile down since. It's just kind of lingered there with a bunch of very strange men intermittently sending me messages from time to time. But dating AI disappeared. And so I'd like to think that this, like the tone of this got to some product team inside of Meta.
I mean,
Like,
listen, it
yeah,
probably, if it disappeared at all, it's because it's very similar in some ways to that horrible story where that boy committed suicide and the AI tool helped him do it. It is
yes,
the same kind of emotional manipulation.
it is.
Same
And it
thing.
was unfounded. Like I use Facebook dating. It's not like they're trying to like lure me in to use it more. This is the one reason I keep that one just sort of up is that unlike all other dating apps, which are so profoundly monetized, they're intentionally gatekeeping and trying
Yeah.
to not let you meet your person until you give them all your money for many months, which I find immensely. I understand it, but it's also very frustrating and they're just ugly to use. Facebook dating is not monetized, and you can tell like they have like half a PM working on it in their spare time. It's not a very robust program. It's very just like, here are the photos. You get, I don't know, maybe 500 characters and a few data points about the person, and that's it. But you're not restricted. You can scroll till you run out of people in your search area. Whatever it is, it's the lowest common denominator, and you kind of get what you pay for. Most of what's in there is
Maybe, but it also gets you. I mean, that's great if you don't have high expectations, but the reality is you did have potentially high expectations. You did meet a guy potentially on Facebook dating AI who sounded like the guy for you, potentially. And
yeah,
all of a sudden, you are basically told that this guy does not exist, and
yeah.
you are supposed to go to a part of town where you had no business being late at night to go meet him. And again, I go back to the fact that that would have endangered you physically. What would have happened if what would have happened if you had gotten into a car crash on the way? What would have happened if you'd gotten stabbed
That
at the
yes.
bar? I mean, like, I'm not suggesting the crocodile is a place that people get stabbed.
Well, I can. I
But
mean,
still,
it's
but the
any
point is, like,
place in
what, yeah,
downtown
anywhere,
Seattle.
right? Like, what would
Yeah,
have, like, any of that, but more relevantly,
yeah.
what would have happened? And again, this is the part that's so nefarious. What it was trying to do is get you to be in an emotional
It's
relationship. They knew you were never going to meet this guy because the guy doesn't exist. Like, I would have been curious to see what would have happened. I wonder if you would have said to this bot, "Hey, I did go to the crocodile, and
right.
Ryan and I really hit it off. Like, it was great. Ryan
Ooh,
was fantastic. Like,
it's my
Ryan
future husband. Thanks,
right?
digital wingman.
That's one question. The other question I would have had
Yeah,
for this is, "Hey, I went there. There was no Ryan, but I got into a bar fight and got punched in the face, and now I have to get very expensive dental surgery." I'm completely making this up, right?
right.
And so, um, what would it have said? "Oh, yeah,
Guess it was a no-show.
Ryan says, he's really sorry, but he'll see you next week." Like,
Oh
I
my
wonder how long
gosh.
you would have kept this going if you kept showing up and Ryan's not there, and you kept showing up and Ryan's not there.
Right.
Like, if you really wanted to take this to its, like, logical experimentation conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to read this from the end of the story.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to decide where to start this, but I'll jump here. What scares me most is how quickly responsibility gets diffuse. If I had shown up at the venue, who would have been accountable? The developers, Meta, the training data, the algorithm? As AI intermediates more of our personal lives, our dating, our finances, our emotions, we cannot afford systems that shrug, oops, when they put people at risk. Someone has to be responsible for the machines we're told to trust. Right now, no one seems eager to raise a hand. And, things like I got in a bar fight, like that could happen if he had shown up, that could happen. But what I think about is like, I'm standing outside waiting for someone who's not here and I get mugged
There you go.
because you sent me here, Meta, and you knew there was no person meeting me. Or like I'm emotionally really volatile. I just got out of a really bad breakup and I have mental health issues and I couldn't handle one more rejection. And I did something really
That's the
extreme to
part that scares
myself,
me. That's the
right?
scariest part. That's the
So
scariest part. I'm
um
potentially,
yes,
I am
yeah,
suicidal because I have really gotten out of a horrible breakup, and I don't know whether I wanna keep going, but this guy,
yeah,
Ryan, sounds like somebody that I want to,
right.
that
This
is
is
like
it.
my man. Like, this is
I'm
it. Like,
I'm gonna take a chance on this
yeah,
man and then be like, oh. And I also wrote this that I think a little bit above that. Women have always been the frontline testers of unsafe technology, ride shares, GPS misdirection, under moderated platforms, dating apps full of bots and bad actors. We're the ones taught to carry keys between our fingers. And I mean that kind of metaphorically and literally. Um, we're the ones texting screenshots before a first date. I always do that. Now AI is joining the party, learning from systems that already fail us. Like,
that's a
there's not,
great point. That's a great
yeah,
point.
yeah. Like, what are they testing? Why were they testing it? And yeah, I would love to. I mean, I'm sure Meta's not going to be like, oh, you're right. Here, here's the absolute truth of what happened. Um, but an answer would be nice. And like, what safeguards are there? Like, there are safeguards if you, different dating apps have different safeguards if you encounter bad behavior, either in real life or on the app. I will say Hinge is really good about this. I should just write a story all up about how the state of online dating, because I like to test different apps. But I had a really bad experience with the one guy who I met in real life at a karaoke bar. I've written about it. We're not going to talk about him, but I saw him a few months later, both on Bumble and on Hinge. And when I reported what happened on Hinge, they wrote me back within like 30 minutes that they were like, he's off our platform. Thank you for helping us keep it safe. I don't know if it was true or not, but I think it was. Bumble was kind of, I never bumbled it. I guess they were just sort of like, cool, thanks for
Yeah,
letting us
yeah.
know. But
Isn't Bumble a women-led, women-owned platform?
oh, allegedly. I mean, yes, a woman is the CEO, but I don't. I think Hinge does a better job with safety. And then, of course, if there's a guy who's harassing you, you can block, or even if it's just someone you don't want to have in your feed, you can block them. But there's nowhere to report, like, if the AI goes amok, right? And it's the direction all the apps are allegedly moving in. Right now, I'm testing Match, which it's better than it used to be, but I'm not impressed. It's my one sentence summary. But there is a bot and it said, hi, and it's like a person. They make it look like a person, like, hey, I'm Kyle. I'm your personal matchmaker. I think you'll like blah. And it sent me one profile to a man who's like 14 years my junior and like 60 miles away, and in no way looks like anything I'm looking for. And there was no way to reject it or to just turn off the bot. It's just sitting there at the top of my thing every time I open it. And
That's
it's
annoying.
been like 2 weeks and it hasn't suggested anyone else. So I'm not impressed. But if you read up on this, all of them are like, we're disrupting the industry. AI is the future of dating, which
Which is scary based on your story. I mean,
it is.
you know,
And
you think about the promise of AI, but you
mhm,
also know how it's going to eventually, help cure cancer and Alzheimer's and all these horrible diseases. But then you
yeah,
also think about the downside of AI, which is it is totally amoral, not immoral, but amoral,
right.
and
It has no morality.
it has no morality. It is inaccurate. It
Often.
it uses you to train itself, so
Yes.
you're effectively the guinea pig. And
Yes.
your story is absolutely like exhibit A in what's happening. I mean, it's just terrifying.
Yes. And if you're not aware of how it's being used, how dangerous it is. Look, if it's an interesting thing, and I'm not here to be like, I hate AI. Like, okay, ironically, like AI built the image for the hero image for my story. AI helped me write this story. Like, I've been facing it down for months, and I to start it, I opened the transcript from the live that Lawrence and I did when I was in Galway, and I downloaded the transcript and popped it into ChatGPT and said, this is the kind of story I want to be writing. Help me with an outline. And it did. And so like there's some irony there of, oh, you're writing about how bad you are,
But
AI.
that's because you have agency over that, right? You could have
Yes.
AI write the outline for you, but you're the one who actually does the writing. Or even if AI
Yes.
wrote the whole thing for you, you'd be the one to go in and edit it so that you own the final product.
Yes. And
Whereas,
I don't want it to be that I'm like, I hate AI. So please
yeah,
continue what you were going to say.
well, but this is scary because this is AI manipulating you
Yes.
and
With
you don't
a
know you're
lack of
being manipulated.
transparency. All I needed in that instance was transparency. Hey, well, actually, here's a question I'll never know the answer to. Is there a 50-year-old, maybe 51-year-old now dude named Ryan who lives in Finney Ridge in in North Seattle, who's a carpenter and likes indie rock? Like, it started with the same experience I'd been having for a few weeks of, hey, meet so and so. He's a blank, and then clicking through the profile and either saying yes, swiping left or right. It started that way. I suspect the genesis of Ryan was a real person. So
Do you
Ryan, if you're
really?
out there, call me.
Do you really? That's so funny that you say
Yes.
that. I think Ryan is somebody who maybe at some point in the previous few months you went on Facebook and said, you know, uh, my toilet is broken, or my sink is broken, or I need somebody to do some carpentry work in my house.
Yeah.
Or even something as basic as, oh my God, I wish I had a guy around to be handy because I'm so not handy.
Right.
Or something like that you might have commented on or posted, or in some way, shape, or form made Facebook believe that you are in the market for a guy who's good with his hands.
Yes.
And couple that with your music preferences, and Ryan is every Gen Xer's dream boy because of Jake Ryan. And so therefore that's a great
He's,
name.
he's a total Jake Ryan.
He's a total Jake Ryan. Jake Ryan, ironically enough, the real Jake Ryan lives in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and is a carpenter. So maybe that's who they were modeling it after.
Maybe that's my man.
Did you know that? He's married. Did you know that?
Michael Schofling. Oh, he's
Michael
married.
Schofling is living in Pennsylvania and is a carpenter.
Uh,
So there
is
you
he
go.
still dreamy looking? I think he is. I think
I
I
don't,
looked
you know what? He has gone totally underground. And so he does not want to be found, probably because women like us are like, oh, is he still dreamy looking? And I think my understanding is he's married, he's got kids, and he's totally over it.
Yeah, the kids are like, Dad, whatever. Sure,
I
you
know.
went too
Yeah.
hard for
I think the kids are like grown up by now, but yeah. So anyway, I say all of this to say that
it could be.
it could be that. I mean, it could be that. I don't know if there's a real Ryan, right? I don't even know if there's a real genesis of Ryan, or whether they just took what you have extrapolated stuff that you've said over the course of all the years you've been on Facebook.
Yeah.
And put it into what they think is it. And they know you pretty well.
They do.
Because
the reason I think he might be real is assuming the dating AI bot was still acting as it had always acted with me, by being like, here's a profile, here's a profile, here's a profile. Had I been in Seattle, I would have clicked through and seen a profile. So at least the start of it, of his name and his age, and I should look back at the screenshots. I don't know if I still have the original one to see if it told me anything about him. But it didn't say the black tones or cumulus or any of that, because it was just very short. That's why I think it might be real. But here's something else I would offer. This is a slight tangent, but it's very relevant. I don't think I had to give Facebook the information by posting it on Facebook. And here's why. I did start dating someone shortly after I got back from Ireland, and we dated for a few months and it didn't work out. So we broke up at the end of September. And within hours of us breaking up, my entire Facebook feed changed to ads about, well, online dating. So online dating ads, but I got every, some of them were from therapists or psychoanalysts, and some of them were just these apps that were like, you can win him back, Dana. There's a psychology to how you get him back. It's only been a week, and it followed a timetable. I still get them infrequently, but now that it's been some time, it definitely knew, like, the moment we broke up, and I don't know where it picked up the signal exactly. Was it reading my texts? Well, like, I don't know, because I didn't put, we were not connected on Facebook. He and I, he's not on social media, and I didn't have a inner relationship and then end it. But boy, did the Facebook advertisers of the world know that I had a new heartache, and it wanted me to get that guy back so bad. I have to admit, I was a little curious of men never chased me back. What could Relatio or any of these other apps tell me? It was like, we will give you, I went as far, and this is why I got more of them, because I did follow the quiz. I was like, what is this going to lead to? And it was like, how long has it been? And what was the problem in the relationship? And who broke up with who? It wanted all this information. And then it was going to give me a day-to-day, backed in psychological data, things you should text him to win him back. So that would be another really great story, I think, because
I think that'd be a great story. Because how did they know? Like, what? Based on what?
Yeah, I'm trying to think when I turned maybe I had turned Facebook dating back on somewhere in that time frame, but I don't think that's an indicator to know you have been broken up with. And it was just following it for weeks with time that he's slipping away. I wish I'd taken screenshots of those. I think I have some that I sent to Lawrence, because I was like, I want to write this because I want some publication to pay me. I don't want to pay to subscribe to these on my own. If someone will pay me to go do them, like I took all these, I did all of this and I tested it to see how it would work. But that would be kind of a cruel thing to do with the guy I broke up with. And I probably best that I don't want him back.
Yeah,
so
but it's still totally
it would've-
sketchy. And I have to say,
it's so sketchy.
remember those rumors about how Alexa was listening to you?
Oh yeah.
I don't, are they rumors? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I have one. And your phone is listening.
I fought getting Alexa for years
Mhm.
because of that. And my husband's like, you're being stupid. We need to like have this as a, I want Alexa. It's convenient. So we got it. But I mean, like, I don't know what it's listening to. I don't know what my phone's listening to.
Right. They are both, they have to be in listening mode all the time, because if you say certain prompts like Alexa, if I say that right now, you'll hear her from my kitchen be like, yeah, what do you want? And it'll probably pick the wrong song when I tell it to play a song. But that's how that tends to go. And my phone, if I say, hey, SIRI, it will light up to indicate it's listening. So
Yep.
they have to be listening. And do we think Facebook is also listening? Meta is listening? Probably. I mean, judging by, we could do a test. We should mention something that we're not into at all and see if we start getting ads for it,
Oh, like what? What are you not into?
I don't know. I could really use an umbrella. It's raining here. We need umbrellas.
Well, you do live in Seattle. It is very rainy there, so
do.
I'm sure you definitely do need umbrellas.
It's true, but
Okay.
Seattleites historically don't use umbrellas.
What do you guys use?
Raincoats,
Oh,
because it's always sort of like it's
cumbersome.
usually it's cumbersome, and it's like a drippy, misty rain, typically not a pouring rain,
Yeah.
which it is right now. But umbrellas, do you know a place where I could buy an umbrella, Julie?
I don't know. I wonder if Amazon has any umbrellas. That would be very interesting to know. We'll see about that.
I think they might sell umbrellas. I'm thinking like maybe some kind of like indie, bespoke, adorable, cute umbrellas. So I'll look fashionable carrying them.
I wonder if this umbrella could have Ryan's face on it.
Oh my God, a custom
made umbrella says Dana Hearts Ryan.
What do you think Ryan looks like? Let's just come up with some rumors. I have a vision of
Ryan. I think Ryan looks like Michael Schofling. I think Ryan looks like he's got dark hair and he's about 5'10", and he wears Timberlands, and he wears kind of, what are those grunge plaid shirts called? Flannel shirts, of course.
He's got a flannel shirt over his Pearl Jam t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, over a white t-shirt and jeans and Timberlands.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking for this part of the story. That was something that the bot said that was so funny. That this was by the time I already knew it was fake. Is that he said, the bot said to me, Ryan said to me through the bot, want to discuss Eddie Vedder with me in person? And I wrote a sentence no self-respecting Seattleite would ever say. Like,
who needs to hear the story? Eddie Vedder.
Oh my God. I am one click away from Eddie Vedder.
Everybody's one click away from Eddie Vedder in Seattle. Eddie Vedder needs to hear the story. Eddie Vedder, who also had a cameo in Singles, as I recall.
Oh yeah. No, he's in it for sure. But can you imagine, like, want to discuss Eddie Vedder with me in person?
Why, yes, I do. Nothing makes me happier than discussing early stage Pearl Jam with you.
Oh my God, right? Like, I mean, it could be like you could discuss discography if you're a big fan, but to just be like, want to discuss Eddie Vedder is not the way any human talks. The story's been up on Medium and Substack for a couple days.
Yeah.
And there were a couple, most people are just, oh my God, this is horrifying. There are people who are sharing it, which I really appreciate.
Right.
There were a couple of kind of critiques, shockingly. Both are from men.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah, if we have time, I thought I would mention them.
Yeah, of course.
One is small. I had a guy this morning yelling at me with a lot of exclamation points. Stop calling LLMs AI. Stop saying LLMs are capable of knowing anything whatsoever, which I appreciate. The second sentence, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, they don't know in a human sense, but they are certainly information powerhouses. There's
Okay.
a lot that you can learn from because they know information. The word nerd in me can appreciate that verb is not quite right. But I don't know why we wouldn't call LLMs AI. Like LLM is a form of AI. So I thought that was a little bit strange, but the more interesting comment, this is a longer one, and I'm being mansplained. Joking aside, you don't really understand how LLMs work. And it's a long comment, so I won't read the whole thing, but what it says and what's so interesting to me is it's almost a justification for what happened. He says, they're designed to complete conversations based on text, but underneath it's about the emotional flow. You can't trick them. They'll just keep creating plausible continuations that they predict are satisfying to you while maintaining consistency as much as possible. And under that lens, your conversation makes a lot of sense. These hallucinations are probably, bold this part, are probably a necessary feature of functional LLMs because they have to mimic our own processes. And the only way they can possibly do that is by having this artistic freedom, because we do that all the time. You can't restrict them, probably. And that makes my head explode because we can't put guardrails on our robots, on our AI
Well,
bots.
if that's the belief, then we're all doomed. Then we're all, then the robots will have taken over in the next 10 years. And if when you ask them, how do you solve, global climate change, they will say, kill all the human beings that are causing it. And that'll be the end of it. I mean, if you can't put guardrails on AI, then we're really, really fucked. Sorry about that word, but it is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Dana?
yes.
It has been so great having you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is amazing. I want you to write another follow-up story, and I want you to come back and talk about it because I want you to now start experimenting with these AIs dating bots.
I think I will. I may have to join another app or two just to push the bounds. And I'm going to take your advice and try to get this broadcasted out more. I mean, I took your advice and wrote the damn thing, and it's a good idea. So
this is actually really important. As much as we're sitting here kind of joking about all this nonsense, this is actually really, really serious because you are blessed and lucky that you know something about tech. B, you are blessed and lucky that you are not so emotionally vulnerable that this could have really ended poorly for you,
right?
Personally. And 3 is you're lucky that you didn't drive somewhere in the middle of the night to go meet some guy that doesn't exist, and who knows what would have happened when you got there. So, you dodged a bullet, but with no thanks to Meta. And I think that's something that's really important for people to understand. Meta actually worked very hard to put you in danger, both physically and emotionally. And that is inexcusable. And I don't know what Mark Zuckerberg is doing right now, but he probably will never hear about the story, but he needs to take stock of how he conducts his business, because this has gone beyond posting cute pictures of your children and animals and connecting you to long lost high school friends. This is dangerous and it's scary. So
let's end it there.
Yeah, we'll end it there.
Julie.
Great to see you. Thank you to everybody for joining us. Hundreds and hundreds of you on Substack. I just checked over there. Thank you so much. And on Twitter as well. So we're really grateful to you. Thank you for joining us, and to everybody here at the Mayday Network on YouTube. Thank you as well. And watch Dana and Lawrence every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, Dana?
Yes, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, Saturdays at noon Eastern.
Okay. Where can people find you?
Well, our show is called The Daily Whatever Show.
Yes.
But our publication is Gen Xy. So if you go to genxy.io, it'll redirect you there, and that's where the show airs live. Love to have you all following, and would love to have you join us.
Yes, for sure. And subscribe to Gen Xy because it's awesome. And Dana and Lawrence have an incredible show. I've been on it a few times, and I love doing it. It's so much fun, especially if you're Gen X, but not even if you're Gen X.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks, Dana. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.